it's interesting because the reason why we started the podcast is completely different than the reason why we continue to do it today.
It was a surprising guest, really interesting. I was really nervous about posting that. If you just say, "Hey, can I take you out for coffee?" They would say no. There's nothing in it for them. But if you say, "Hey, come on my podcast," 9 out of 10, you can just shoot them a text and we'll get back to you pretty quickly.
Thank you guys for being here.
Yeah,
thank you, Shane, for putting this on.
Oh, man, I appreciate it. Okay, so I am new to this whole personal branding and doing podcasts and stuff. Tell us a little bit about each of yourselves. How did you get into it? And then how did you guys meet?
Yeah, so I was doing real estate initially as a real estate agent, but I watched a lot of YouTube from like 2009, 10, 11. It was what I would watch instead of TV. It was YouTube. Always just wanted to make videos. And just years went by. I kept postponing it. I kept thinking no one would want to watch me. I wasn't that interesting. I couldn't offer anything. And I just kept making these excuses until one day I just realized if I don't do it now, I'm never going to do it. I posted one video and I loved it. And I just kept doing that. And it was just cool in the beginning because you would get like a few views and it's like a few random strangers would see your video. And then you get one subscriber from it. I got a kick out of it. So I continued that. Eventually in 2020, I started doing it full time when everything shut down. I stopped doing real estate, did YouTube full time, doubled down. Jack came on at that time. We started the podcast and the rest is history.
Wow. Yeah, I can actually go to because I just hit 30,000 subscribers, very small. Okay. But every time I check my videos, I say how many views did I get, how many subscribers. It really does mean a lot because we put a lot of effort into these things.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. All right, Jack, tell us, how did you get into it? And how did you guys meet?
I've always loved YouTube, and I was a huge fan of Graham's content. I remember back in the day, I opened up my first credit card because of Graham. I got a Roth IRA because of Graham. And so it led to these actionable things in my life that made a real impact. So I loved it, and I had some sort of a parasocial relationship with Graham. I emailed him several times to ask if I could help out with his cause because I wanted to help people. I wanted to spread financial literacy. And he got back to one of those emails. And then I started working with him, worked for free, gave him my time, gave as much value as I could possibly give. And then after enough time, we developed a relationship.
Wow.
Platonic. A lot of people think that there's something here that there isn't. But
just friends.
Just friends. We started working together, built out the podcast. And once again, the rest is history.
Oh, that's amazing. So, I'm an introverted person. I don't know. You guys aren't as introverted as I am. I don't know. I think you said
I'm extremely introverted. Yeah.
You're like me. If we were in the conference, usually I would be kind of in the back corner on the side, not even sitting amongst everyone. Okay. So how does it feel to kind of be in front of camera? Because when I get in front of a camera, I forget everything I was going to say. How do you guys get past that?
It's easy as an introvert because you're by yourself most of the time. It's like when I make YouTube videos, it's me in a room and a computer. I'm talking to people online. And then when I film a video, it's just like me and a camera. There's nobody there. So, and even when we film podcasts, it's usually Jack and I and a guest. Maybe they have like a friend.
Yeah, it's just more casual, right?
Correct.
Very good. So now as far as personal branding, so here's one thing. We're trying to do a 3-section thing. So this is our business summit. We're trying to tell business people personal branding and getting yourself out there and being online is very important because even Elon Musk, Jeff Bezos, all these guys are building their personal brand. Mark Zuckerberg, he did that whole little, he had the American flag, and it's important even for them. So I'm trying to tell business owners they need to do personal branding. And then the people who do personal branding, some of the creators, they're not usually some of the best business people sometimes, right? Now, if you make money in business and you make money in a personal brand, you need to preserve that money in something. I think it's real estate. That's just me. So that's why we're doing 3 different conferences throughout the year: Pivot Summit, business; personal branding, September, October; and then real estate in December. So to you, what do you guys think about how much opportunity have you guys gotten just by the personal branding and being online and making yourself very public?
Yeah, getting in front of people that we never ordinarily would be able to meet. Kevin O'Leary being one of those people.
That's crazy.
Just being able to sit down with him for 2 hours is just incredible. I mean, there's really no amount of money that you could pay some of these people to sit down, but they'll do it if it's like, hey, I got a channel. You could get in front of my audience, and I get to pick their brain, which is really cool. It's just the opportunities it brings you is you just can't put a price tag on it.
Man. And so what roles do you guys play? Like what's his strengths? What's your strengths? What's your weaknesses?
Yeah, so I'm really good at like the front facing stuff when it comes to like title, thumbnail, strategy, and then Jack is a beast on the back end on that.
Yeah, I'm a beast on the back end. Thank you
Beast
very
on the
much.
back end.
No, I do a lot of like the logistical things. I run pre-production, production, post-production, and that's all stuff that I learned along the way. When I actually first started working with Graham, I had zero skills whatsoever. I just had a lot of time and a lot of motivation, and so I applied myself, learned these skills, and yeah, I'm a beast on the back end now. So
How do you reach out to the speakers then? So you have a good brand now. What kind of DM do you send? Hey, my name is Graham and Jack. We want to have you on our podcast. Or how does that usually go?
it depends on the guest. So a lot of the times now it's mutual connections. So for example, we collaborated with the Daily Wire, one of their talent, Brett Cooper. And because we had such a great experience with Brett, it got a lot of views, made a lot of people happy. The Daily Wire really liked it. And they were then willing to let us interview other people from the Daily Wire, like Ben Shapiro, Jordan Peterson. So now it's a lot of mutual connections. Fortunately, we've been doing this so long and we have enough exposure where people kind of recognize us. So when we DM them, it tends to show up and they'll get back to it. If not that, we have a booking agent. We pay them a fee and then they reach out to the booking agent on the receiving end. And that's pretty much it. I mean, what else do we do? We also have a Google Sheet that we prepare for select guests that has a list of people we've had on the show that have been outperformers. So for example, like our Brett Cooper episode did 130 million views about a year ago. And still to this day, it's probably growing 150 plus now. And Jordan Peterson did over 100 million, Ben Shapiro. And we have logs of every single piece of content we've posted on every single different platform. And then there's a link to it, the amount of views it got, engagement stuff. And we send that over and say, here's evidence for our claims, because a lot of people will make some sort of claim like, oh yeah, we can give you this amount of views, but they don't provide any evidence. And I think that makes us stand out a little bit.
Yes. Wow. Now I have another question too. So when I'm hanging out with Ben, or I have a buddy named Smitty here, I don't know where Smitty, he might be in the back. Whenever we're out in public, they get recognized a lot. And to me, I don't get recognized. I'm not like that right now. And I'm like, man, seeing how they get recognized, how does that make you guys? So is it a little alarming or scared, or has it been pretty delightful?
It's been fine. I mean, anyone who watches finance content is like probably a pretty normal, cool person. So thankfully it skews towards people who are like really motivated and are like doing stuff.
Okay, so you don't have that scary nerdy account like, hey, and come in and attack it?
No, not at all.
People are generally very kind when they come up and recognize you. The only thing is you got to be a little bit careful if you're out at a bar and you're drinking a little bit, you got to stay very calm, so you got to watch yourself a little bit when you're in public, because you don't want to get recognized in like a bathroom or like in certain situations.
Yeah, there have been a few times where I've had like intimate conversations with a friend, and I notice the person next to us kind of looking over a little bit, and I'm thinking, oh, they probably watch the channel. Maybe I should just be careful about what you say. Yeah. And I'll get up and, hey, by the way, I didn't want to disturb you, but, I watched the channel. It's always nice, but you never want to make like, edgy jokes or like certain things.
You got to be kind of careful.
Yeah.
Okay. So I know you guys are doing, like you said, it's more finance channel. And so clearly you guys do investments. Can you guys talk about what kind of investments you guys are in right now? Where are you seeing the market go to?
Yeah, I just do the opposite of Jack.
Do what?
I just do the opposite.
I'm in the investments that go down. Yeah.
Oh, you do puts and stuff?
No, I do calls and then they go down.
Oh, calls. Okay.
No, he has a joke where whatever I end up buying goes down. But I can't believe this came up.
It's not a joke.
Talking about this.
It's really not a joke.
I happen to be a little unfortunate with the timing. It's mostly just index funds. That's really it. We play it very safe. He's got some real estate, and that's index funds. A little bit of crypto, 3 to 5% Bitcoin, Ethereum.
Yeah.
That's about it.
So I know you said you did some real estate, but you stopped in 2020. Do you still buy and hold?
Yeah. So I just buy and hold, but I've not bought anything since 2020.
Wow.
I think, for me, my time was best spent just making a really great YouTube video. And so everything I made from YouTube, I just funneled into index funds. Just because I didn't want to think about anything other than just putting out a good video. And at the time, it was 3 times a week. So if I like divert my attention away from that, it suffers.
Wow. Yes. So I know that you said that, I know that you mentioned, I've seen some reviews, something you have like a Ford GT car or something. Do you still have that?
I do.
So what made you buy that exactly?
I thought that would be a good investment. So
Has it been a good investment?
yeah, that car is actually. I've been tracking that car against the S&P 500, and right now it's underperforming. But for a while, it was keeping pace with it. So I wanted a cool car in the backdrop because it's been my thing since I started for the most part. So I thought that was a great car that is going to go up in value,
Yes,
and that was the
absolutely.
purpose behind it.
Yeah, and I've heard that you're interested in Pokemon. I think so.
Pokemon.
Is that true?
I mean, I did collect Pokemon cards. I have some Pokemon collectibles. I wouldn't say that's a large amount of my asset allocation is in Pokemon.
Yeah, I was looking up. So I have a buddy here. He owned a Pokemon store, and I said, "Man, well, this guy Jack's coming. He's into Pokemon.
Some
Y'all take a
Pokemon
look at it."
collectibles. Yeah, nothing too crazy though. I keep my alternative investments to a minimum.
Yeah. All right. So now, just to kind of get you a little, to get you guys to get to know you guys a little bit more personally. What do you guys do for fun other than making videos? Like people see you guys doing videos, like they just live at home and only do videos. What do you guys do for fun?
Graham doesn't have fun. Graham,
I just make
maybe-
videos, man.
Yeah, that's him having fun.
Yeah.
What do you like to do for fun, Graham?
Dude, I have a reef
Aquarium.
The reef
Yeah.
aquarium is fun. Going to the gym is fun, and $30 all you can eat sushi is a blast.
30 all you can eat sushi.
Yeah, there's a place called Umiya. It's in Las Vegas. After 9 p.m., it's $22 all you could eat.
Oh my
See, that's the
god.
thing
It's
I-
incredible.
That's the thing I don't get about Graham anymore is he doesn't need to be frugal, but he still is. We'll be hanging out with someone after we film a podcast. This person, they'll be very successful, have a high net worth, they're running a massive business, and Graham's like, "Well, hold on. Let's wait 2 hours to go save $3."
It's not three.
Yeah, how much is it? What is it?
It's $35, and then it goes down to 22.
So we save $13 per plate for 3 people. So
It adds up.
yeah, $1 saved is $1 earned. That's very true.
Invested over 30 years, it's a lot of money.
That is a lot of money.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, I've noticed. I'm like, I don't care how rich you are. There's some billionaires out there. They're over there counting like, oh wait a minute, I can get it here for cheaper. They're doing coupons and where can I get the best deal? So, what made you pivot? Because that's the name of the conference.
Yeah.
I know you did your own personal channels, right? What made you pivot to say let's do podcast channels? Because there's a different vibe than just talking to the camera alone.
I'll let you answer that one.
Yeah. It's interesting because the reason why we started the podcast is completely different than the reason why we continue to do it today. We started it because I looked at Graham's brand. He was putting content out there, but virtually all of his content was very scripted. And so it felt like he wasn't able to make a connection with his audience. And I mean, for the sake of branding, it's extremely important to feel like you have a relationship with your audience. Then it's easier to sell, it's easier to convert, to redirect people to certain things. But yeah, it was all scripted content so that they didn't really get to know Graham's personality. I thought if we created a podcast, even if it was just Graham and I going back and forth, we had fun conversations, like we'd let certain things fly. It was very candid. And I figured we could probably talk about investing, what we're doing, stuff that he wouldn't cover on his scripted content, just him and I. And so I thought it'd be a great way for him to connect with his audience. But then it ended up turning into a thing where we'd bring guests on the show and we would try to learn. But it's still proven to be a way that our audience gets to know us more intimately than something that's just scripted and talking about like the tariff policy or something like that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
initially, it's funny. I didn't want to do it at first because I was so busy making those 3 videos a week. And it was like a 2-hour commitment. And Jack said, all you got to do is just give me those 2 hours once a week. I'll do everything else. And all you have to do is be in front of the camera for 2 hours.
So it's really Jack that pushed the podcast
Yeah.
far.
Yeah, he wanted to quit after a couple of episodes. He was out. He was out. But it turned into be this great thing where we could sit down with people we wouldn't be able to sit down with otherwise. And there's so many other external random benefits to having a podcast. I recommend a lot of people here, if you're ever considering starting one, it's way easier than you think.
Yeah, I think I realized very early on that there were people that I just wanted to meet up with.
Yeah.
And they're busy enough where if you just say, hey, can I take you out for coffee? They would say no. There's
Yeah.
nothing in it for them. I'd feel the same way. But if you say, hey, come on my podcast, and they see a track record of like every episode is getting 100,000 views, they're going to say yes. And so it was a great way to meet a new person every single week that I would never ordinarily get to hang out with.
Yeah, so earlier in my speech, I decided I'm going to really lean into mentors. So I paid Grant Cardone $100,000 for 4 hours, which I've only used 2, so I got 2 more hours left. But I was sitting there thinking, man, if I had a podcast or my personal brand bigger, I wouldn't have to pay anything. I get to have almost like free mentorship. Have you guys gotten a ton of free mentorship from doing the podcast?
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, anyone who we have on the podcast, for the most part, we have just become friends with, to the point where I would say like 9 out of 10, you could just shoot them a text and they'll get back to you pretty quickly.
Wow. What did you guys what did you do behind the scenes to make sure you're able to push the views, give value, but also monetize and kind of do it full time like you've done?
Yeah, you just got to hop on trends. I think number one, beyond anything else, is you have to make a really good video that's engaging, and you have to hop on a trend while it's relevant, and you have to be the first one to it to make the best video you can. Because especially in finance, there might only be a few topics a week that are even worth talking about. And of those, you have 20 other creators who are all vying for those same eyeballs. So you have to be the one who gets to it first in the best way possible. So that's always been my priority, is just to do that, and then everything else falls into place. But I also try not to take on too much where it's going to sacrifice the quality of the video.
Oh wow. So when it comes to editing, do y'all edit your own videos, or do you outsource?
We review it. Yeah. I edited for a very long time, the podcast. It ended up being way too big of a time suck that it was hard to like spend my time, thinking of bigger ideas, how to grow the brand, because I was always focused on editing. But then, we hired it out, and
What do you think about like using AI to edit, or is it really just
it's
not
not
the
caught
same?
up yet. No, AI is not caught up yet. There is a program called Autopod. Autopod can automatically do the angle switches of a podcast, but it can't cut out anything. So we're looking into ways to cut it out. But we also did something on our podcast that very other few podcasts did that I think made us stand out a little bit, which was a lot of other podcasts would film for 90 minutes and then the final product would be 90 minutes. We would film for 3 hours and our final product could be 90 minutes. We would cut out an hour and a half of fluff. If we thought it wasn't entertaining, then it was gone. And so I think people had more confidence every Sunday at 9 a.m. whenever we posted. If they tuned into a video, it would be exciting from the beginning to the end. Whereas other podcasts, there might be a lull in the conversation where the entertainment or educational value dipped below a certain threshold. And our threshold was very high. Like it would never, it was always very entertaining or educational.
Like I'll watch every episode that we post before we post it. And
The whole thing?
The whole thing.
Yeah.
Man, wow.
And I'll either listen to it, or my preferred is I'll be on the treadmill. And so I'm like getting something done while I'm
the
listening
same
to this
time.
thing. And anytime my mind wanders, or like I'm in the podcast, I start thinking about like, oh, I wonder what is for dinner. Oh, I had this thing to do. Then I know I'm not engaged in the podcast, and I'll just go back. I'll listen to it again. I'm like, nah, we should cut this, because my mind is just going. And I'm thinking, if that's me, imagine the people who like just have stuff going on in their lives. They're not going to care about that.
Yeah, and people's attention spans and stuff. What about TikTok? Are y'all like really heavy? It's mainly YouTube, or do y'all do all realms like TikTok, Instagram, and all that?
We do everything. And it's at this point become essential. If you're going to grow on YouTube, especially start from nothing. If you already have a brand, you may not need to do shorts. But if you don't have a brand at all, shorts are best for discovery. You need
discovery.
You need vertical content for people to actually discover who you are, because the algorithm will feed the viewers your content, and you don't have to have a title. You don't have to have a thumbnail. You don't have to be recognizable. They don't have to see your channel name if you're scrolling through shorts. It doesn't matter. As long as your hook is good, the algorithm will randomly feed it to people. It will test your video. And if your hook is good and you're looking at the camera and you're saying something exciting, the person will continue watching it. So it's just based off of engagement and retention. That's it. There's no like click-through rate. There's no appealing because they already recognize you. That's how you get discovered if you have no brand.
So people that are writing notes, if I say, what's 5 things that I need to do? I just filmed a video. What's 5 things I need to do to make sure that it goes viral and it's clean? I would assume make it quick and everything. Like
are you talking about a short or a long?
Let's do a long form. Let's do long form and then do a short. Like what's 5 things? I know that's
so you just filmed it. You haven't edited it yet.
You haven't edited it. You just filmed it. It's raw. Let's just say it's a head talk. Like I'm just talking about like here's 3 things you can do or something.
I would say one has to be a really catchy title that makes people want to click now. Because if it's a title that isn't exciting, where someone just doesn't have any urgency, they're going to keep scrolling. And they're, even if it's a good video topic that they want to watch, they're going to forget about it. Like I just download videos, and if it's like over a week old, I just forget. So it's got to be a reason they have to watch immediately. The other one is a thumbnail. Like it's got to provoke some sort of curiosity of like what's going on. It can't just be something that blends in.
It's got to be high contrast.
It can't just look like something in your phone that you went and buy kind of thing.
No. You're competing with people that spend thousands of dollars per thumbnail. So it better be a good thumbnail. It's got to be high contrast, high energy, evokes an emotion,
Okay.
Here's the thing that people don't realize. Some of the top channels will spend $10,000 or more. I'm not just talking Mr. Beast. I'm talking
Is that what y'all spend?
no.
No. Okay.
No, but I'm just saying, like, when you scroll YouTube, that thumbnail that you get recommended could be $10,000 of value.
Mm.
And you're able to get that for free. That has taken them that much time and effort. I'm talking like dozens of people have put time into that thumbnail, and you're just able to see it for free.
Mhm.
And take notes from what you're seeing on the YouTube recommended homepage. Like
Wow.
that's the best A/B testing.
All right. So thumbnail, catchy title.
Catchy
What's
title.
like a few other things. What will
And
help
then
the algorithm go?
First 30 seconds.
First 30 seconds.
Yeah, with, like
Okay.
when you go into the YouTube Creator Studio, it gives you all the analytics. They really focus on the first 30 seconds of retention for a reason.
Okay.
And if you make it 30 seconds into a video, you're going to be more likely to keep watching the video. So you really have to make those first like 30 seconds to a minute really, really, really impactful. And then you got to keep reminding people throughout the video why they're watching. So there's a reason how I'll say, like, I'm going to tell you exactly about this decision, this, and then how this applies to you and how you could make the most of it.
Wow.
Number one, the first thing you have to do is this, and this. But if you really want to take it, you have to do this thing. And then we're going to talk about that thing. But before we go into this next thing, I have to talk to you about this. And it's a constant reminder from the beginning to the end why you should be watching this and what it's going to do for you. Because again, people forget. And then also what I do is when I'm watching a video, I'll be scrolling for other videos to just to pick something that's better. So if I'm not fully engaged, I'll just like click onto the next one.
All right. And then are there any kind of, excuse me how I'm asking this because I don't know the verbiage. Do you do like hashtag stuff or verbiage in the description or anything? Like what
No.
Is there anything there?
I found that the description doesn't really help that much, but timestamps do. And I noticed Google is now linking to timestamps as SEO. So like when you type in on Google, for instance, like how to unlock a door, you'll find a YouTube video timestamped how to unlock a door.
So timestamps is very important. Okay,
Timestamps.
that makes it. So you can actually chapter it out?
Yes. Yeah. If you look at YouTube and you click on a video, it can show you like within one long video, the sub discussions that you have within that video.
Yeah. I used to be really against it in the beginning. I thought it would impact retention because people could just scrub to the section that they want to see and not watch any of the other videos.
I was for it the whole time. We would get comments every single video.
Yeah.
Graham always says, people don't know what they want though. I would say no. Like, I feel like if we're getting a comment with 100 likes, someone saying, where are the timestamps in this video? We started doing it and it worked.
And it worked.
Okay. And then do you need to engage in like responding to comments? Does that help?
I do. I'm always like throughout the day just on the YouTube app responding to comments.
Yeah, you can
I
see
just think it's a nice thing to do.
And you see my questions are basic because you can see how little I know about this stuff. So
No, but the basic stuff people forget. They overcomplicate it and they think it's just really, it's intricate. It really, when you get down to it, it's really simple stuff. It makes the biggest difference.
All right, now going back between you guys, because y'all's dynamic, what is something that you've learned from Jack working with him consistently? And then I'm going to ask you the same about Graham.
Jack is really good at outsourcing. I do everything myself. Like on my main channel, I'm the one's titles, thumbnails. I edit myself. I script myself. It is just me. Jack is really good at being able to hire that out and getting a good team that I've not really been able to do.
Okay, how about you? What have you learned from Graham working with him consistently?
Man, I've learned a lot from Graham. What would be the main thing I've learned from Graham?
But give us the top three. We're okay. We have time.
Yeah, I think one of the most important things if someone's trying to be successful in life is what is their relationship with failure? And I think Graham has a really good relationship with failure. Whenever something bad happens to him or in his life, he always thinks back to like, how can I use this to make me a better person? What can I learn from this failure? And he looks back on those things as blessings. And I think a failure is just an opportunity, or it could be something that rots away at you and you think about all the time. And Graham has done a really good job at spinning the narrative in his brain to see everything as an opportunity. And then you're unstoppable at that point. It's like a layer of paint, very small, but after enough time, you create a formidable mountain. So,
all right. So now we'll go back to some personal growth stuff. So what's one belief about money that you had to unlearn in the last 5 years? I know we were talking about taxes, me and you, and we're talking asset protection, but what's one thing?
Probably for me, it's my frugality. I could be like looking at the dollars. where like sometimes the bigger decisions, like maybe like a $100,000 thing, I'll put less thought into than like, hey, how could I save this $5 by like doing this thing, this like scheme, and like I save $3. So
Yeah.
that's probably not the best use of time.
Yeah, but you're not that guy that reuses like dental floss and stuff. You're not that kind.
No, he does.
cheap.
He
I do.
literally took one in your pocket.
No, I don't.
I was
Actually,
joking.
so funny. I was looking for one, and I didn't have
He
it.
carries around dental floss.
I do.
It's actually disgusting. He has those like little, he has the flossers, and he'll just like go through it and then put it back in his pocket.
It's a clean pocket.
Or he'll,
It's a clean pocket.
because you don't only put it in your
I don't want
pocket.
stuff in my teeth. This
No,
guy knows what I'm talking about.
You put it.
He's thumbing
No,
up.
don't give him a thumbs up. He puts it.
When we
thumbs up.
Well, hold on. He
She
puts
says no. We got another thumbs up. There we
He
go. 2
puts
to
it
1.
in his backpack. He'll be fishing through his backpack. How long have you had that backpack, buddy? Yeah, he'll be fishing through his backpack and pull out a flosser. It's already loose.
But some of
It's
those are
supposed
new.
to-
Those
the
are new.
string-
Those are new ones.
The
I have
string
so
is
many.
supposed to be tight, and it's loose. So I would say, yeah, he's unlearned a little bit of his frugal life habits. And for me, my answer is actually exactly. I don't want to be boring, but it's the same. Over the past 8 months or so, I've had to unlearn a lot of like very frugal tendencies that kind of held me back. Like it was hard for me to justify outsourcing to someone and paying them like a good amount of money for a long time. Like I was always like, how can I find the cheapest labor possible? But over the past, I would say 8 months, I've learned to become more comfortable with spending to grow the business.
Oh yeah.
And personally as well. And it's dramatically improved my life. Like I used to go out and only go grocery shopping for like cheap stuff and I would never eat it.
But you don't go to the extreme he does with the dental floss, right?
Heck no.
All right. So how do you know like when you need to pivot some of your content then? Like
It's immediate on YouTube. You get immediate feedback from the very beginning, and usually I'll know within the first hour, sometimes even 15 minutes, if a title, thumbnail, guest is working. Every now and then, we just know we're going to post something. It's not going to hit our audience, and the algorithm's going to pick it up after a week. But for the most part, you get immediate feedback, and you just have to look at the numbers. It's like, it's not really an emotional thing or like, why didn't they like me? It's always a reason that you could improve on.
oh wow.
Yeah, I would say the pivot, which is a great name of this summit, because it is so important. You need to have the wherewithal to be able to see when something stops working or if it was never going to work in the first place. You're going to put all of your time and energy into the wrong thing. And burnout, a lot of the time, what I heard from, this was interesting, it was from Dr. K, psychiatrist, very well-trained psychiatrist. He said burnout happens when you're not getting the reward that you think you should have gotten. And so if you're working on something and getting rewarded, even if it's something that's exhausting, if you feel like you're being properly rewarded, you may not burn out. But if you're working really hard at something and you're not getting that product back, then you're going to burn out. And that's the same thing. It's like you have to be able to get the reward, or if you're not, understand why you're not and pivot to something else that will be more rewarding and you won't burn out.
How do y'all handle disagreements creatively or in any type of business things going forward?
We've been friends for too long now that it's...
You know, we go on walks. That's what we
do.
do. If we
That's
come
true.
to a head on something, usually we'll just go on a walk and talk through it. But there really aren't that many things. Sometimes we might have a disagreement on like a direction we want to take with something, but usually at that point, I just kind of defer to like whoever feels more confident in their decision.
Who cares more?
Yeah.
Is usually what it is. And on top of that, it's really nice because Graham and I are very logic oriented. And so it's whoever's logic is better. Logic, there's kind of an equation to determining what is logical and what is not. It's hardly ever emotional arguments. Like that never causes issues between Graham and I. And so fortunately, we're both grounded in the same, engine that determines whatever decision we make. It's logic is our engine. And so we usually can come to the same conclusion.
Yeah. Well, so for example, I don't do partners very often, but one time I had a partner, we were partnering on a fixing flip. And I came in and said that I believe the wall should be gray. And he just is insistent it should be like this baby blue color. And in the end, I said, from that point on, I learned that if I do partner with someone, I say, hey, look, if we do this house, I'm going to be in charge 51% and you'll do in charge 49%. But on the next one, you can have 51% and I'll do 49%. To kind of keep it back and forth. So I'm just curious, is there anything like that where you say, hey, look, I guess it goes back to your strength. You're going to handle kind of like the thumbnail strategy and you're the strategic first. Is that
Yeah,
kind of it?
but even then, I mean, if Jack really dislikes something that I'm doing, like really hates a thumbnail, I'm not emotionally tied to it. Like I'm like, "Oh, sure, let's
Okay,
try
let's
it
try
out.
it.
Let's try it. I really don't care that much to like put my foot down on something. There are
It's-
very few.
It's rare, but I think we're really lucky that we both kind of at this point care more about our friendship than we do about some trivial title or thumbnail. Like
No,
I
that's
find it
awesome.
hard to imagine something would ever get in the way that would cause us to compromise any aspect of our friendship.
Yeah, the thing is too, it's not like an ego thing where it's like, no, I have to get my title. I really don't care. Like as long as we just want the finished product to do better. So we
Yes.
both want the same thing. That's all I care about.
And where do you see the iced coffee hour in 5 years from now? Do y'all have like a certain goal, or you just saying we're just enjoying it while
I'd
it's
say
going?
we just want better guests. We just want to keep like just leveling up in terms of the type of people that we could get on. And it's cool now that we're getting some of the people that were like dream guests of ours 5 years ago. And so I could only imagine the people who we think now are just unattainable, but maybe that's a possibility.
Yeah. So, what are some of the benefits from doing personal branding, in your opinion? Like,
I would say it gets your foot in the door and it gives you so many different opportunities. Like I'll give you an example.
Mhm.
I'm thinking about selling my 2010 Tesla Roadster. It's one of 26 that were ever made in yellow.
oh wow,
And I would sell it for 110 grand or 1 Bitcoin. If anyone in the audience is interested,
raise your hand if you're ready to go.
you could just send me a DM on Instagram. But maybe there's a buyer. So,
true.
you know, that's just an example. You have a wide range of people. You're always going to meet a friend. If you go to any location, there's someone there that you could hang out with who's going to be like on the same wavelength as you, think the same way, and you're just buddies.
Absolutely. So definitely, we're going to take some. Do you guys want to do a Q&A for a minute? Would that be cool? All right. So I have one more question then. So I want you guys, when I want to come see you guys in Vegas, and I want you guys to mentor me. Are you guys going to help me grow my channel?
100%.
Yes. Can you help me decrease my tax bill?
You got it.
Okay, cool.
You guys heard it. All right. Let's go ahead and do a Q&A real quick.
My question is, who was the most interesting guest you had on your podcast, and why was he so interesting, or she?
The most interesting, I would say, for Graham always says one of the most recent guests that we've had on, so he would say Togi. Yeah, he was interesting. I like people with a lot of depth. So if you can ask them a question and they can go a mile deep on it, that's very exciting for me. I was very interested by Dr. K. He was a Harvard-trained psychiatrist. It was a great episode. We've done 2 or 3 with him now. I recommend, if you guys want to watch it, the first episode that we did with him was really amazing. So people that have a lot of depth of knowledge.
Depth of knowledge. Yeah. Good question.
Togi. It was a surprising guest. Really interesting. Had nothing. I was really nervous about posting that because it was not business whatsoever. I mean, there was zero educational content in this episode at all. And I was really scared that our audience wouldn't like it. They would be upset over it. I mean, the guy's just a bit of a lunatic, but we had him on, and it was so entertaining. So I didn't expect it to be that good.
Very good. Very good. All right. Yes, sir. Say your name too.
Hello, everybody. My name is Dejan. Quick
Dejan?
question for any content creator or anyone out here that aspires to be a content creator. What is one piece of advice that you'll give to anybody that wants to just get out there, but they're shy, they're nervous, they don't want to step in front of a camera, anything like that?
Yeah, I felt the exact same way. You just have to do it. It's one of those things where it's like getting in a pool and it's cold and you're like just kind of like dipping your feet in. It's really uncomfortable. You just have to jump in and get it over with. Once you start posting your first few videos, you get over that fear and you realize that like people are really surprisingly nice online, and I believe you're gonna have a great experience and it's just fun. So like if you go and you enjoy it and you have fun with the process, you'll get over that fear. But I was the exact same way. I was like really self-conscious to put myself out there. Like before posting a video, I had like 0 social media. I just had a Facebook account with some old friends on it. That was about it. And I wouldn't call myself an extrovert or someone who's like good in front of the camera, but you just practice over time and get better.
It is a skill, and it's interesting. Go to the first ever episode of the Iced Coffee Hour and watch like my body language and just how I'm talking. I was so nervous for this. And this was a channel that was just created, 0 subscribers. Probably nobody was going to see it. Turns out people did see it, but I was horrified. And it's just like a muscle. You just have to work it out.
Yeah, it's fun. Go and watch that first ever episode, and you'll see the evolution. I mean, we watched it recently, and it was awful. I mean, it was really, really bad. But you'll see just how far we've come. So
Hello, thank y'all for coming out and speaking to us. My name is Luke from Middle Georgia. You mentioned outsourcing, right? And getting used to it and stuff. Like, to what point do you see something? Is it like, obviously you get tired of doing something, oh, so I'm just going to outsource it? Does it ever bite you in the butt for like saying, oh, I just don't want to do that anymore? And so you figure it out? Because I have a problem with that as well. I'm trying to do everything myself because I know it's going to get done right. But I know they have like the 10% and you let them do 80% of the work and then do the last 10%. I've seen that thing before.
Yeah. I mean, it's a training process. So even if you had someone that had 30 years of experience editing, I would never hand them our episode and just be like, take it away, and then we're going to post whatever you end up with. So it is a training process, and you just slowly offload more and more until it gets to the point where their brain works like your brain. I decided to outsource when I felt like I was no longer growing when I was doing what I was doing. When I felt like I had learned everything there is to learn about the extent of editing knowledge I needed to edit a podcast, I was like, okay, great. Now I've learned everything. I figured it out. I'm just going to teach someone my everything and they can learn. You just have to find the right person that has the correct aptitude, intelligence, the things that are needed. And then it's unfortunately a slow, somewhat grueling process, but in the long run, it's very much worth it.
Yes.
Hi. What subject matter have you guys found to be most engaging to your viewers? And at this point, does it just come down to your dynamic together, or is it still based on subject matter in terms of getting engagement?
Yeah, what would you say on that?
Yeah. Oh, you can hold it. All right. It's stuff that triggers emotions. So if you can trigger someone's emotions, they will engage. Usually sad emotions are more exciting than happy emotions, and people are going to feel some sort of way. If you can make a viewer feel something, that's the most important thing. So that's why scary movies do so well. Like, it's weird. Like, no one thinks of going to the movie theater to watch a scary movie to like enjoy it. But the reason why people love scary movies is because it makes them feel something. They remember when they jumped out of their seat when there was like an alien jumping behind a door and scaring them. So as long as you can make the viewer feel something, negative emotions unfortunately do better than positive ones. Then I would say that's the most engaging thing you could do.
Also, I was thinking somewhat polarizing guests, where it's like 50% of people really like them and then 50% of people really don't. Because then you have a clash in the comment section and people will watch because they just hate that person. They're like, I don't like this person. Let me watch and like just feed that. And then people who love them are also going to watch that and just love it. And they're both going to just reading the comments of this video is hilarious.
Good afternoon, everybody. My name is Rolfi. I have a question for you. What has YouTube really taught you about yourself that you didn't know before you started doing it? And if your views were to disappear, would you still be doing YouTube, or would you guys quit?
Yeah, in terms of what it's taught me, really, I think it shows that anything is possible. And it's easy to kind of say this now, but truly, like when I first started, I never expected that I'd have more than like 1,000 subscribers. Like it's, to me, that was just incomprehensible. So it really taught me that if there's something you really want and you're willing to work towards it, you'll be able to achieve it. And I think it's really just about learning that you could be self-sufficient, to teach yourself, to learn, and to watch what others are doing. And there's so many people who have done exactly what you want to do, and you could just almost copy them, like, and take the same path that they've already forged for you. And then in terms of views going to 0, I mean, honestly, it would probably be pretty disheartening. I might make the occasional video. I don't think I would be as motivated. Like, part of the motivation is that there's a whole bunch of people who are curious what you have to say on something, or are looking forward to a video that you post. And that, for me, really encourages me, just knowing that like these people really get something and enjoy it and find it helpful. And if I'm just posting into the void and like no one is finding it helpful, I don't know if I'd continue. I would pivot.
I like how she helped me with branding. Thank you.
Same thing. Yeah. I mean, people like to do things that they're good at. And so if we're getting views, I like to think that we're decent at creating content. If we stopped being good at it, AKA stopped getting views, then I'd probably try to find something else I was good at.
Hey, my question's really for Graham. How did you stay so consistent, especially in those first few years when you had to do sales, managing your rentals, and you weren't making enough money to outsource?
Yeah, for me, it was a must. Like I had to do it as though my life depended on it. I forget what it was. Someone explained it somewhere that like if a gun is to your head and you're gonna die if you don't do something, you could push yourself to do it. And I thought to myself, well, if I have the capacity to do it, if a gun is to my head, what's my excuse for not doing it? And so I just thought to myself, I'm just gonna do it. And so I didn't miss an upload. I think it was like 5 years, 6 years of doing 3 videos a week every single Monday, Wednesday, Friday. And the only reason I wouldn't post is if that day fell on a holiday. And that was it. But for me, it was a must. I wouldn't end my day until the video was done. And if I had to cancel plans or just not go out, I would just do it. And I just found a way to make that happen. I think when I was really that committed, it would just fall into place.
So I'm wondering, how do you deal with controversy?
Yeah, 100%. I've always approached it, and in the beginning, when I first started my channel, I was a bit edgier. I would swear in my videos. I'd make like kind of edgy jokes, and I remember a comment in the very beginning where someone, like a father, commented, and it was like, "Hey, I really wish I could watch my videos or your videos with my son, but I can't because you swear in the videos, and because of these jokes, it's just I don't feel comfortable showing him this." And I really thought about it. At first, I was like, fuck him. But after a while, I thought to myself, you know what? I think he's correct, and I should really do my best to be a great example. So I go at it with that, and obviously, I can't always be perfect when it comes to those, but I genuinely try my best throughout anything I do, and I really try to put myself in the position of the viewer and just what they would want to see and what they would get out of something, and that's how I've approached it.
Hello, how's everyone? My name is Yvette Renee. So I have a YouTube channel. I have about 300,000 subscribers.
Wow.
So I would consider myself to be doing
Oh, congrats.
well. But thank you all. So I've been termed from some of my audience as a comfort creator. I've also had some people ask me about starting a podcast. So in your experience and your recommendation, should I stay where I am and scale as an influencer? I'm on Instagram, TikTok. I would say about 750,000 across all 3 of those platforms. So should I stay where I am in the niche that I am and scale there? Or would it make sense to start a podcast as well on the same channel, off the same channel? And how do I beat imposter syndrome? I know that was super loaded, but
If you're going to start a podcast, do it on a different channel. I would not do it on the main channel. And I would say if there's easy, plentiful opportunities for you to continue working in whatever content you're doing right now, keep taking those. But if you feel like you're doing one input equals maybe 1.25 output, 1.5 output, if you were to work harder on your current niche, then maybe explore some other opportunities like a podcast. I would say, why not both? You could probably do both. But like I said, if there's a lot of opportunity still on the table, pursue that right now, because that's probably more likely than starting a whole different thing and becoming successful in that.
Yeah, I would agree with Jack on that one.
Do you guys strategize your content? Do you plan a month of what the content is going to be, or 6 months? Do you have a scope of what that is going to be?
Yeah, in terms of your second question, we do our best to strategize. So we'll notice if there are trending topics on YouTube, we'll try to hit it. Like, for example, we had a recent one where the Trump tariffs went into effect. The market was tanking. And we had Chris Camillo and Dave from the Dumb Money podcast on, and we got that out. That turnaround was so fast.
Wow.
But we were one of the first people to cover that in a podcast format. And then now we're seeing other episodes that were filmed at that time that are just now posting, like a month and a half later. And so you have to be like really quick to certain topics, but we'll also notice that if we have, let's say, a car podcast with like the Stradman on, and that video gets 1 million views, we know a lot of those people are going to see our next podcast. And the way YouTube sometimes works is if someone watches a long form podcast like that, they're going to get recommended the next episode as well. Because YouTube deems that to be pretty relevant. And so if we went from a car podcast to like something completely niche, everyone who watched that is not going to watch the next one. It's going to hurt our algorithm. But if that one does well, we'll know, okay, well, we probably should do something that's going to be relevant to that audience.
Yes.
So maybe it's another car podcast, or maybe it could be bodybuilding because there's a lot of overlap between the two. So we'll try to make every episode feed into the next one so someone can watch them concurrently. Not always, but that's what we aim to do.
You guys, did you guys enjoy these guys?